Happy birthday to JDV. Have a great one, my guy. So, this is a bit overdue. For a good while, I was waiting to do another one of these because the stuff was just getting announced so slowly that there wasn't enough to talk about. Then when there finally was enough to talk about, I was knee-deep into stuff I couldn't put on hold, and the information just kept coming. Now I have way more to talk about in one video than I ever intended. And you'd think that would make me hurry up and finish this preamble, but there is something I need to bring up. So, if you watched my previous video on the Shattered Glass Optimus Prime, you'd know I did a bit where I talked about what it would be like if Japan came up with the concept of the Shattered Glass Optimus Prime. You know, how he'd be a magical schoolgirl with the big titties. Honestly, the whole reason I brought that up is because a subscriber asked me to please poke fun at Japanese Transformers. They were a tad ill and wanted something to cheer them up. So you all know me, I can basically never say no to any of you, so I just kind of invented a rant to have, and at the end of it, I thought I came up with something that worked a little too well. Well, after that video came out, a couple of you contacted me and told me that it turns out there's an anime out there called SSSS Gridman. I'm sure plenty of you have heard of it. I don't know how to describe it other than a high-quality anime knockoff of Ultraman. At least that's the impression I get from what little I know of it. I know that it's a sequel, that the original show was licensed in the US to become the Power Rangers knockoff show Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, which is why the new show is now called SSSS Gridman, because they spelt cyber with an S, and that's pretty much the extent of my knowledge. Well, it turns out that the creators of SSSS are actually huge Transformers fans, and they based all of the character designs off of Transformers. They based all of the character designs off of Shattered Glass Transformers. Here's a kid based off of the regular Cliffjumper that got trapped in the Shattered Glass universe. Here's a kid based on the Shattered Glass Sideswipe. Here's a kid based on the Shattered Glass Starscream. Here's a kid based on the Shattered Glass Hot Rod. Here's a kid based on the Shattered Glass Megatron. And here's the main villain. Apparently her whole thing is that she is a schoolgirl who has magical powers and big tits. And she's based on the Shattered Glass Optimus Prime! How was I right? I didn't know any of that. I was just spitballing something stupid I thought an anime might do. I had no idea that this was something an anime actually did. Am I a genius? Am I psychic? Or is Japan just that predictable? I will never win the lottery now because I used all of my luck on this nonsense. And oh god, was it worth it? This is hilarious. Anyways, let's get into it because I have a lot to cover. Okay, basically, immediately after my previous video covering new announcements dropped, the Kingdom Waspinator was leaked, and I've had a ton of questions as to what I think of it leveled at me ever since. There is a huge amount of backlash this thing seems to be getting because of how it looks, and quite frankly, I don't understand it, because this looks fine to me. Honestly, I kind of really like what I'm seeing. This is very much taking me back to my childhood. It looks just like the character, and yet it also reminds me of the toy. I can't place my finger on what's causing that bit of nostalgia. Maybe it's the bug legs, which a lot of people seem to be taking issue with. But this is par for the course with Waspinator. What do you want them to do with these legs? He needs to have them. Maybe if they could optionally parts form off, that'd be something, but he does need them for his bug mode, and you want them to be thick like that, believe me. I have the Generations Waspinator, and I am constantly terrified that his bug legs are going to snap off because they are so thin. Honestly, the only thing that's bothering me about how this looks is his backside. I don't like the hunchback, and he's clearly going to be pretty hollow. Outside of that, this does look to be a retool of the Thrilling 30 Waspinator. So why was the Rhinox not one? It looks like it's also going to have the problems of the Thrilling 30, namely that it has no waist and that the joints are limited, though clearly this has better knees than that thing did. So this will be the T30 plus articulation minus scale. Oh my god, why is this thing so fucking tiny? Hasbro is really starting to push their luck. They are charging more and more for smaller and smaller figures, and before anyone tells me that's because of the plastic shortage, that is a lie. Hasbro is lying. Look at their other products. Nerf is also made by Hasbro. Each and every Nerf product is made of 10 times the plastic of any of these figures, and Nerf's prices aren't increasing. Hasbro is lying about the plastic shortage to get an excuse to jack up the price for Transformers, because they think we will pay it. Like I was warning about since Earthrise with the Cliffjumper, they were testing the waters, seeing just how little value we were willing to put up with. That was a Legends figure they were selling for deluxe price, and people just ate it up. And now everything is getting smaller and more expensive. Wasp mode looks really good on our resident sad boy of the Transformers, and this has light piping, and I'm not going to lie to you all. From this picture, the color is pretty, and I think it looks kind of cool. Most importantly, the eyes don't look bad out of the light. Anyways, speaking of what a rip-off Cliffjumper is, Shattered Glass Bumblebee. The colors on this look cool, the head not so much with its powdered blue and small face, and the cannon would look great if it didn't have this blue tip on it. Am I the only one who thinks this looks, wrong? But it's just the Cliffjumper mold again. It's the Cliffjumper mold for the 100th time because we keep sucking it down. People keep complaining that the Siege Sideswipes got too many retools, but at least that was a good figure in the first place. Earthrise Cliffjumper is a more recent bad figure with even more retools that always cost too much. And this is going to cost even more. And if you are buying all of these Shattered Glass figs, you better buy this one if you are after the comics, because you can't just skip out on one of these figures if you want to have a full set of them. Why does the head on the box look so much cooler? I am so sick of this mold. It's not good, it never was, and it just keeps coming back. Speaking of figures that keep coming back, Premium Megatron. How is this any different than any of the other infinity billion releases of this figure, except for the fact that he has more battle damage, which I like, and he's got wingtips, which I also like. Can we please put this mold to bed? There are so many barely different versions of this thing. If I didn't already have one, this would probably be the version I wanted, but I do have this. I've had it so many times, and I'm sick of it. I think I'll just run through the whole Premium series right now. We've got Premium Bumblebee Optimus Prime. This is clearly better, but really not in a way that I think should motivate you to pay for this thing. The first version was good enough, and all they've really added here is a slightly dirty effect, and they've picked out some of the smaller details. I don't think there's enough here to care about in order to justify the extra like $20 they are charging for this. Then we have the Premium Siege Prime, and I just can't be bothered to care. Yes, I love this mold, but this is specifically done to make it evoke the Siege show, and dear God, no thank you. Why would I ever want to be reminded of Moronimus Prime? Premium Bumblebee. So wait, Hasbro, you are re-releasing a shell former no one liked because it wasn't engineered well, and it was based on outdated concept art for the character. Why? Look at the backpack. There aren't better things for you to waste your money on, Hasbro? Lastly, in the Premium line, we have Dead Ultra Magnus 2. That's right, this is their second stab at it. And they still failed! How do you release a version of this that didn't hit the mark, and then release another version of the same thing that still doesn't hit the mark? He's got these cracks in his pylons that are still not blown the fuck up, and he still doesn't have the hole in his chest. Is it just me, or do his chest windows look like birds live in and crap all over them? I suppose you could argue that this is supposed to be the living version of him from the show, but the living version wasn't 100% grayed out. I gotta say, for the inner core robot, while I like the color blue they used for the accent pieces, I do find it incredibly silly that they are entirely pristine while the rest of him is covered in soot head to foot. So yeah, I'm not gonna be grabbing any of these premium figures. They are just chug figures again, but enough more expensive that I might as well buy third-party figures for slightly more and get a lot more quality out of it. These are such inconsequential updates, and yeah, they are well made, but who cares? It's the same thing again, for the 10th time each basically, and way more expensive for it. And Hasbro, what are you doing with the Ultra Magnus? The Spoilers Inside version already didn't sell. You can still get them on the Big Bad Toy Store for almost half off because they are just trying to get rid of them. They say the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. It's not actually true, but that's what they say. If it was true, Hasbro's gone crazy. Selects Galvatron, the same figure we just bought, but in uglier colors with stickers you have to apply yourself. Oh, Hasbro, you shouldn't have. Like really, you shouldn't have. Why are we supposed to want this? Just because it's in the G1 toy colors? Who even had the G1 toy? Even the few people who had the G1 toy didn't like the G1 toy. And an all-green Matrix because... Explain. Why should we want yet another Matrix, and especially this all-green one? It's just getting comical at this point. How many Matrixes have they released this year? I wonder what this looks like without all the extra stickers. I mean, I still won't buy it, but I want to know. Also, stickers. Yuck. Almost looks the same though. But why aren't the Revenge guns painted purple? Why are they black? Make them purple, you assholes! This one is an easy skip for me, and probably for all of you too. Now let's take a look at the Kingdom Ravage. From what I've heard, this is going to be like a convention-exclusive figure, so if that's true, that sucks. People are saying this is a retool of Cheetor, but I don't know about that. I mean, it obviously has some of the same parts, but this might be more what Hasbro used to call shared engineering, as clearly a huge part of this figure is not based on the original Kingdom Cheetor. The way everything but the lower legs work is almost entirely new. I don't know, perhaps this is more based on the Tigatron than the Cheetor, but this is very different and I really want to get my hands on this. He comes with his two giant silly pistols, and funnily enough, he comes with a G1 Ravage cassette, which is very clever and I really like that. And it stores in this little sleeve in the diorama, so that's pretty cool. Though, I do have to ask, if they were keeping any part of this, why the fuck did they choose to keep the useless little feet? This is one of the few things I've talked about in this video that I need. Alright, the Jurassic Park box set. Now, this is more what I'm talking about. The T-Rex figure that they released as a Target exclusive was fucking stupid. A flat, worse repaint with significantly less effort put in of the Beast Wars Megatron. Are you serious? Yes, there is less effort put into the paint on this one as well, but at least it got a new head. I guess this is supposed to be a female, probably entirely because the dinos in Jurassic Park were all supposed to be women. Now for the SUV. People in my Reddit are theorizing that this is based off of an unannounced Skids figure, and that makes perfect sense. This does look exactly like what that would end up being. I kind of hate the stupid hat. I can't tell if it's supposed to be Muldoon's hat or Grant's hat, but it's silly no matter which way you slice it. The crossovers need to stop putting the new figures into the clothing of the franchise they are crossing into. It's just weird. This would have been fine without a hat. The truck mode looks great, exactly right for what it's aiming for. I'm really impressed with this one. And the box looks awesome. This is a great display on its own. Tyrannocon Rex and JP93. Jeep 93. Those names suck. Are you serious with this? You are just doing T-Rex again, basically, and then just calling the other character the make and model of the other vehicle from the movie. Or wait, maybe it's Jurassic Park 93? How do both of these work and both of them suck? People were paid to come up with these names. I do love that JP93 comes with a Spaz 12. I mean, it's silly, but I won't object to having a toy Spaz 12. Buzzworthy Bumblebee When Worlds Collide box. Oh my god, another Cliffjumper! This one a Bumblejumper. You know that thing that everyone was really happy the Netflix Bumblebee wasn't? Well, it is now. And how do they keep releasing Bumblejumpers without the Bumblejumper head? As for everyone else, I'm actually really excited. Fangry I'm the least excited for, being that it's a retool of Twinferno, which wasn't exactly the best of the Titans Return figures. But then you've got the Nemesis Primal, and finally a Primal with a faceplate. Plus, the colors look really good. And then the thing I'm most excited for is the Black Arachnia in the original toy colors, which were for some reason based on Tarantulas' show colors. And it has the original full-face helmet head. This is bringing back memories I didn't know I had. Don't much care for the leopard print raw though, that's an odd way to interpret that. I'm not bothered by this toy loyalty because we did actually get the version of this that wasn't doing that first. So this is just an extra version that's not depriving us of the thing that we want. Anyways, yes, this box looks good. Except for the fucking Bumblebee. Lastly, Shattered Glass Skyfire. I am stoked to be able to say that you guys have another shot at this mold. Yes, it's not the correct colors version, so that might matter to you. But if you can accept this, then you will have another chance to get this awesome figure for a reasonable price. I don't like that they didn't make his chest gray because these are supposed to be Skywarp's colors and he wasn't pure black like this. Plus I do think it looks a little plain, all charcoal all over. But they did include the gray on his armor piece, so that's a cool workaround. Though I don't know why it's also partially purple. I mean, I guess it's supposed to only be partially gray, but at the very least it's upside down, and I mean, come on, keep the gray going all the way up, damn it. I also think that the face mask is working out way better here than on the original, and it does give this guy a unique personality. The eyes actually seem to be painted, so hell yeah! This isn't making the wretched fucking mistake of having light piping, and the more sinister face fits this version of him quite well. Also, I wonder if they kept the faction swapping gimmick. His box looks kinda lame though, seems real cheap, and even like it's been damaged in the official product photography. But this looks good enough to really tempt me into spending another $90 on a figure I already have. I'm just happy there is a version of this figure that you guys can buy now. So yeah, there's not much in this current batch of announcements that I'm really hell-bent on getting, and some of it is just infuriating to see. Looking at you, 2 different Cliffjumpers coming in the next several months. Outside of that, there is stuff to look forward to here, and the rest isn't insulting to see. And that's not half of what I have to say, but it's enough of what I have to say. And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So, if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please, share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.